Happy Friday po sa ating lahat. Ako si Benison Estareja. Isang low pressure area po ang nabuo kahapon sa loob ng Philippine Area of Responsibility sa may silangan ng Visayas. At kaninang alas 3 ng umaga ay huli itong namataan 310 kilometers po sa silangan ng Borongan, Eastern Samar. Base sa ating latest satellite animation, mababa po ang chance na mabuo ito bilang isang bagyo sa mga susunod na araw. At inaasahan po natin na posible na rin itong malusaw either mamaya or bukas. Samantala, the low pressure area plus the southwest monsoon patuloy pa rin po nagpapaulan sa malaking bahagi ng southern Luzon at sa halos buong Visayas and Mindanao. At mananatili pa rin po malayo yung bagyo sa labas ng Philippine Area of Responsibility, itong si Typhoon with international name na LAN. Ngayong araw po, mataas pa rin ang tsansa ng mga pag-ulan sa malaking bahagi ng Bicol Region, kabilang na dyan ng Catanduanes, Albay, Sorsogon, and Masbate, at maging dito rin po sa may northern portion ng Palawan dahil sa pinagsamang epekto ng habagat plus the low pressure area. So asahan po natin yung kalat-kalat ng mga pag-ulan within 24 hours at meron din mga thunderstorms. So mag-ingat po sa mga posibleng pagbaha or pagguho ng lupa. In other areas of southern Luzon, kabilang na dyan ng Camarines Provinces, Calabarzon, rest of T.R.O.P.A, and even dito sa Metro Manila, asahan po natin bahagyang maulap at nagiging maulap na as early as morning. Then may chance na po ng mga isolated rain showers or thunderstorms na bahagyang epekto na rin po ng southwest monsoon. Silang pambahagi po ng Luzon, itong Central Luzon at malaking bahagi ng Northern Luzon, generally fair weather conditions or maaraw at minsan maulap ang kalangitan. And then sasamahan po ng mainit at malinsangan na tanghali, lalo na dito sa may areas ng Cagayan and Isabela. Then pagsapit po ng hapon hanggang gabi, may mga localized thunderstorms din na mararanasan at mga isolated rain showers pa dito po sa bahagi ng Ilocos Region and Western Cordillera Region. Sa ating mga kababayan for Visayas and Mindanao, asahan po natin within 24 hours ang halos maulap na kalangitan sa buong araw, then sasamahan po ito ng kalat-kalat ng mga pag-ulan, light to moderate rains at nagkakaroon din po ng mga thunderstorms lalo na sa hapon hanggang sa gabi dahil sa pinagsamang epekto ng low pressure area sa silangan ng Eastern Samar at southwest monsoon or habagat. So mag-ingat po sa posibleng pagbaha or pagguho ng lupa lalo na sa mga bulubundukin na lugar. At lagi pong magantabay sa ipapalabas na thunderstorm advisories, rainfall advisories, and worst case scenario, mga heavy rainfall warnings po ng PagAsa. Temperature natin for Metro Cebu, Metro Davao, and Cagayan de Oro, posible pa rin umakyat into 32 degrees Celsius. Sa ngayon po, and even in the coming days, wala naman tayong gale warning or sea travel suspensions na asahan. Asahan lamang po dito sa malaking baybayin ng Luzon, moderate to rough or hanggang minsan ay maalo ng karagatan hanggang 3 meters, then banayad hanggang katamtaman naman ng pag-alon dito sa parting Visayas and Mindanao hanggang 2.5 meters kapag meron tayong mga thunderstorms. For the next 3 days po, iiral pa rin ang southwest monsoon or habagat at inaasahang hanggang bukas mananatili pa rin ang low pressure area sa may silangan po ng ating bansa. So for Metro Manila, for the next 3 days, asahan pa rin po ang halos magkakatulad na weather conditions, bahagyang maulap hanggang maulap na kalangitan. Magdala po ng payong kung lalabas bukas ng umaga, may chance ng mga isolated rain showers. Then pagsapit ng Linggo and Lunes, may mataas na chance ng ulan sa tanghali at hapon. Sa mga mamamasyal po for Baguio City, patuloy pa rin ang generally pagbuti ng panahon. Unlike nitong mga nagdaang linggo po, asahan pa rin natin ang bahagyang maulap at misang maulap na kalangitan for the next 3 days. May mataas na chance na mga pag-ulan pagsapit po ng hapon, dulot ito ng southwest monsoon. At ganoon din po yung asahan na weather condition for the rest of Cordillera Region and Ilocos Region. Sa ating mga kababayan po over Bicol Region naman, kabilang ang Legazpi City, by tomorrow, maulap pa rin na kalangitan ng mararanasan lalo na dito sa may southern portion of Bicol. Asahan po yung mataas na chance ng mga pag-ulan pagsapit ng tanghali at hapon, dulot ng habagat plus yung unti-unting lumalayo na low pressure area. Then pagsapit ng Linggo and Lunes, bubuti ang panahon, mababa na ang chance na ng mga pag-ulan, maliban na lamang sa mga pulupulong rain showers. Sa ating mga kaigsunan din for Metro Cebu, asahan din po bukas, makulimlim pa rin ang panahon for most of the day at asahan po yung mga light to moderate with at times heavy rains, lalo na sa hapon at gabi. Dulot po yan ng southwest monsoon. Aasahan din yung ganung weather condition for Western Central Visayas. Then pagsapit po ng Linggo and Lunes, asahan naman yung bahagyang maulap at minsan maulap na kalangitan. Then may chance rin po ng mga pulupulong ulan sa hapon. At panghuli sa ating mga kababayan po over Metro Davao, sa mga mamamasyal po doon at makikipiesta for Kadayawan, asahan for the next 3 days, bahagyang maulap at minsang maaraw naman po ang kalangitan natin. Then mainit hanggang 34 degrees Celsius, lalo na po sa Lunes. Then may mga chance na mga localized thunderstorms walang kinalaman sa bagyo sa hapon at gabi. Si Haring Araw ay sisikat 5:41 a.m. at lulubog 6:21 p.m. Yan muna ang latest mula dito sa weather forecasting ng Pag-asa. Ako muli si Benison Estareja na nagsasabing sa anumang panahon, Pag-asa magandang solusyon.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's hearing of the Committee on Energy. I hereby call this hearing to order. And today's agenda for consideration today are the bills pertaining to the regulation of the midstream and downstream natural gas industry. So therefore, may I ask the committee secretary to kindly read for us the specific bills under our agenda today.
Good morning, sir. For today's agenda, we have Senate Bill 152, an act providing for the national energy policy and framework for the development and regulation of the Philippine midstream natural gas industry and for other purposes, by Senators Gatchalian and Escudero. Senate Bill 1944, an act promoting the development of the Philippine downstream natural gas industry and appropriating funds, therefore, by Senator Marcos. Senate Bill 1991, an act providing for the national framework for the development and regulation of the Philippine midstream natural gas industry, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, by Senator Villanueva. And Senate Bill 2247, an act promoting the development of the Philippine downstream natural gas industry, consolidating for the purpose all laws relating to the transmission, distribution, and supply of natural gas and appropriating funds therefore, by Senator Tulfo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Comsec Grace. Let me now acknowledge the presence of Senator Win Gatchalian. Thank you, Senator Win, for joining us today. The chair hereby declares the presence of a quorum. Again, Committee Secretary, may I ask for you to acknowledge the resource persons and guests in attendance today.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming to the Senate. From the government, we have from the Department of Energy, Attorney Rino Abad. From the Energy Regulatory Commission, we have Director Sharon Montaner and Engineer Rochelle Moreno. From the Philippine National Oil Company, we have Mr. Oliver Butalid. From the PNOC Exploration Corporation, we have Mr. Rolando Olinquino Jr. From the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, we have Engineer Lynn Lamboyong. From the Department of Health, we have Engineer Luis Cruz. From the Department of Trade and Industry of the Bureau of Philippine Standards, we have Engineer Ariel Denia. From the Board of Investment, we have Ms. Romalyn Manalo. From the Department of Finance, we have Assistant Secretary Carlo Adriano, together with Attorney Edgar Alan Sireyes. From the Maritime Industry Authority, we have Attorney Patrick Ferrano. From the Philippine Competition Commission, we have Director Carlos Tolentino III. And from the utilities, we have from the Manila Electric Company, we have Mr. Lawrence Fernandez. From the First Gen Corporation and First Gas Power Corporation, we have Attorney Mark Miranda. From the Philippine Independent Power Producers Association, we have Attorney Ann Estorco Montelibano. From the San Miguel Global Power Holdings, we have Attorney Jupiter Cabagyo. From the Prime Energy, we have Ms. Donabel Quizon Cruz. From the Energy World Corporation Gas Operations, we have Attorney Jocelyn Coronado. From the Center for Energy Ecology and Development, we have Mr. Brent Ivan Andres. From the Department of Transportation, we also have Attorney Miguel Liave. And for the Power for People, Mr. Leody de Guzman. That will be all, sir.
Thank you, Comsec Grace. We are convening today to discuss vital bills that will shape the future of the natural gas industry in the Philippines. We are all aware that the energy landscape is rapidly evolving, and the role of natural gas in our nation's energy mix has never been crucial. But before we move forward, let us first understand what exactly is the midstream and downstream natural gas industry. The midstream sector primarily deals with the transportation, storage, and wholesale marketing of natural gas. It serves as the bridge between the extraction of this energy resource and its delivery to end users. On the other hand, the downstream sector covers the final processing, distribution, and the sale of natural gas to consumers and industries. Together, these sectors ensure that this vital energy source reaches our homes, powers our industries, and contributes to our nation's growth. The Malampaya gas field has been a cornerstone of our energy infrastructure for over 2 decades. However, with its reserves depleting, we are at a crossroads. The bills presented before us today, introduced by Senators Win Gatchalian, Escudero, Marcos, Villanueva, and myself, each address the need for the development and regulation of the midstream and downstream sectors of our natural gas industry. Regulating the natural gas industry is a matter of national interest or national interest. It's about ensuring that as we transition from indigenous sources like Malampaya to importation of liquefied natural gas or LNG, we have a robust, transparent, and efficient system in place. It's about guaranteeing energy security, fostering economic opportunities, safeguarding consumer rights, and promoting environmental sustainability. Compared to coal, natural gas is a cleaner burning fuel, producing fewer emissions and pollutants. It offers a more environmental friendly alternative, reducing our carbon footprint and mitigating the adverse effects of climate change. Moreover, as we aim to transition to renewable sources of energy, natural gas stands out as a reliable bridge. It can complement intermittent renewable resources, ensuring a stable energy supply even when the sun doesn't shine or the wind doesn't blow. Furthermore, we cannot ignore the global rise of LNG. As nations around the world pivot towards this versatile energy source, the global LNG market is expanding, offering opportunities for trade, technological advancements, and energy partnerships. The Philippines must be ready to harness these opportunities to remain competitive on the global stage. As we dissect and discuss the details of each bill, let us remember the larger goal: to create a resilient, sustainable, and prosperous future for the Philippines to a well-regulated natural gas industry. I look forward to a productive and enlightening discussion. Thank you. Now, may I ask our fellow senators present here if anyone would like to make any introductory remarks? Senator Win?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for considering this measure. The bill I filed, SB number 152, was written from ground up, meaning we painstakingly took time to listen to different resource persons. Some of them are here with us today. We consulted with then potential LNG terminal investors, existing power plant operators. We also consulted with US regulators as well as European regulators. These are mature markets that have been importing LNG for many, many years already. That's why, Mr. Chair, we took note of all of their suggestions as well as some of the competition issues that they have encountered, and we embedded that in the law. With your permission, Mr. Chair, I actually created a short video for everyone to understand the logic and the reasoning why we filed this bill. And with your permission, if we can show the video. It's a 3-minute video, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead,
Yep.
Senwin.
Yep. We can ask the Secretariat to play the video. And this is just to educate everyone, especially LNG is a very technical technology that we'll be using from now on till the future.
What is natural gas? Natural gas refers to gas obtained from boreholes and wells consisting primarily of a mixture of methane, ethane, propane, and butane with small amounts of heavier hydrocarbons and some impurities. Natural gas can be transmitted through pipelines on land or underwater. However, the transportation of natural gas over long distances, such as across oceans through pipelines, is not economically feasible. To transport natural gas over long distances through ships or trucks, natural gas is cooled to a cryogenic temperature through a process called liquefaction and is thereafter called liquefied natural gas or LNG. Upon the arrival of the LNG ship, the LNG can be transformed back into natural gas in a process called regasification, which is done in an LNG terminal. After regasification, natural gas can be transmitted through pipelines for use. When there is exploration, development, and extraction of natural gas, these processes are part of the upstream natural gas industry. When natural gas is transmitted via pipelines, liquefied, transported via LNG ships and LNG trucks, regasified through LNG terminals, or stored or bunkered through storage and bunkering facilities for use of midstream end users such as power generation plants, industrial and commercial establishments, and economic zones. These processes are part of the midstream natural gas industry. When natural gas is distributed to retail end users such as households, this is part of the downstream natural gas industry. Currently, the upstream natural gas industry is governed by Presidential Decree Number 87, or the Oil Exploration and Development Act of 1972, while the downstream natural gas industry is governed by Republic Act Number 8479, or the Downstream Oil Industry Deregulation Act of 1998. However, there is no law governing the midstream natural gas industry. The Senate Bill Number 152 aims to address this legislative gap by providing for the national energy policy and framework for the development and regulation of the Philippine midstream natural gas industry. Owing to the intricacy of the midstream natural gas industry, a comprehensive legislation is needed to fill in the gaps and strengthen existing bridge policies in order to unlock the potential of natural gas as a vital source of energy for the country.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That was a very good presentation. Yeah, very comprehensive and easily understood. Okay, thank you, Senator Win. Is that all? Are you not going to make
Yes,
any
Mr. Chair.
opening statement?
That's it, Mr. Chair. I'll just listen to the comments of our source persons.
Is there any other senators present, even via online? Okay. If none, then I would like to put on record the opening statement of our Majority Floor Leader, Senator Villanueva. COMSEC kindly include the opening statement of Senator Villanueva in the records of this hearing. And considering the complexity of the subject at hand, we will be referring the measures today to a technical working group, or TWG. But first, I would like to hear the initial comments and concerns of our resource persons and stakeholders today. And in the interest of time, each resource person will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to express their position. So now let's start with the resource person from, or persons from the Department of Energy. And that will be Attorney Rino Abad, Director of DOE OMB. What does OMB stands for, sir?
Oil Industry Management Bureau.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Chair,
Abad.
good morning. Senator Win, good morning. Mr. Chair, on the side of the Department of Energy, we expect that this law would, if this bill becomes a law, this will actually be primarily implemented by the Department of Energy. So we're very much interested in participating all throughout the deliberation in the Senate for the passage of this bill. Basically, our context in really going for a passage of this law is that indeed there's a law for the upstream. There's Presidential Decree 87. But on the, of course, on the downstream oil, there's a BP 33, Presidential Decree 1865. We also have the oil deregulation law. But indeed, as pointed out in the presentation, there's no law yet governing the midstream to the natural gas. So in this regard, of course, we want to institutionalize formally the functions of the Department of Energy as to the parameters as to what level would be the regulation aspect and which part of the industry operation would be deregulated. So I guess I presume that this law will basically clarify those things. And in the aspect of operation, we usually encounter the issue on who makes sure that the operation will be safe and who takes to handle price-related concerns. And of course, in the permitting also, what sort of permits would be expected for the side of the investors. They will be very much interested how and what permits would be required. So these things, Mr. Chair, would really be very important on not only for the DOE but of course for other regulatory agencies to be able to see those clarifications in the law. So rest assured, Mr. Chair, that the Department of Energy will be submitting all the required comments from the committee to the committee, and of course we look at the other comments also of the other participants in this deliberation. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Director Rino Abad, representative from the DOE OMB. And next to express their position is the representative from the ERC, and that would be Director Sharon Montaner. Director Montaner, go ahead. The floor is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Win. On the part of the Energy Regulatory Commission, we support this bill, Your Honors, and we will be working with the technical working group in the finalization and threshing out of the issues with this bill. We have already submitted comments previously in the previous bills of Senator Win, and the Commission is ready, and we will be coordinating with the DOE on the delineation of the functions here with regards to our function in the regulating the electricity industry and the use of natural gas as fuel for power generation, Your Honors. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Montaner. And next to share their opinion is the resource person from the Philippine National Oil Company, or PNOC, and that would be Mr. Oliver Butalid, President and CEO of PNOC. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Senator Win. PNOC would like to express our full support for the rationalization and regulation of a very essential sector that would greatly impact the energy generation outlook of our country. On the part of PNOC, we stand ready to complement the efforts of the private sector in broadening access to this energy source. PNOC shall prioritize the use of our industrial park in Bataan for an LNG terminal, and in the nascent phase of the development of this industry, participate in a limited way in activities that would benefit specific customer segments. We also would like to submit, Mr. Chair, that it may not be necessary to repeal any provision of PD 334, that is the charter of PNOC. We believe the powers granted to PNOC under its charter, including the authority to develop oil and gas projects, either by itself or in partnership with other parties, may be strategically utilized within the context of supporting the objectives of these bills. Again, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Butalid, President and CEO of PNOC. And next to speak is the representative from the PNOC Exploration Corporation. And that will be who? Okay, Mr. You should have raised your hand earlier. I didn't recognize you. I'm sorry. Mr. Orlando Olicino Jr., VP for Downstream Operations Division, PNOC. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. PNOC fully supports the creation of a law for downstream natural gas and midstream. And then next, that we already submitted our comments to the post for the bill, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Olicino. That was short and sweet. Now let's hear from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, DNR. And where's DNR?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
That's
Engineer Lenny Ramboyong.
Is that Lin or Lini?
Lenny po.
Lenny, sorry. Lini
Yes, sir.
Ramboyong.
Yes, sir.
Engineer 2. Go ahead, Engineer, sir.
Okay. Actually, I'm from the Environmental Management Bureau of the DNR. We are actually in support of these bills. However, we would like to formalize our comments and to be submitted to this committee, including the other bureaus of the DNR, the BMB, the FMB also, and the Climate Change Services of the DNR, Your Honor.
Thank you, Engineer Ramboyong. And now let's hear the person from Department of Health, resource person, who would share their opinion.
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Ayun, dami kasi natin. Engineer Luis Cruz.
Morning, Mr.
Engineer,
Chair,
go ahead po.
Senator Win. The Department of Health supports the Senate Bill 2247, 1991, 1944, and 152, seeking the promotion of the development of the Philippine downstream natural gas industry. The DOH recognizes the role of natural gas to ensure the country's energy security. However, considering the natural gas industry may involve intensive work requiring or exacting a great deal of work or effort to labor-intensive, the use of heavy equipment and possible exposure to extreme weather conditions and gas emissions, the DOH would like to manifest that health and safety among the industry workers must be given due emphasis or considerations. The industry must recognize that high levels of natural gas exposure can cause natural gas poisoning, which is characterized by fatigue, severe headaches, memory problems, loss of concentration, nausea, loss of consciousness, and suffocation, and which sometimes may lead to death if not given immediate medical attention. So to address this concern, Mr. Chair, the following are our comments and recommendations on the draft bills. 1. Pursuant to RA 11223, otherwise known as Universal Healthcare Act, the natural gas industry shall undergo the process of health impact assessment to ensure the health and safety of those involved, including the surrounding communities, are protected Members of potentially affected communities shall be well represented also in the process. Number 2, public health mitigation and management plans shall be developed and implemented for all development initiatives. And 3, compliance to the occupational safety and health safety standards of the Department of Labor and Employment shall be strictly observed by the industry. The bill shall include the power and responsibilities of DOLE that implements RA 11058, the Occupational Safety and Health Standards Law, which was approved in April 17, 2018. Number 4, pipeline companies shall take steps to ensure that health and safety, security, and environmental concerns are addressed throughout the planning, construction, and operational phases of the pipeline operations. And lastly, it is important that gas industries establish a program to continue to monitor and reduce methane gas emissions. This include wider implementation of leak detection and repair program. That's all, Mr. Chair, and we will send our official position of Secretariat. Thank you po.
Thank you, Engineer Luis Cruz from the DOH. Now, let's hear from the DTI. DTI.
Morning, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay. Engineer Ariel.
Morning, Mr. Chair, and the members of this honorable committee. We fully support the deliberation and enactment of the proposed bills and or the consolidated bill to promote the natural gas industry. Upon our initial review, we have observed minor proposals to the definitions in the proposed bills. And for consolidation, we will submit our position paper to the honorable committee. That will be all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, DTI, Engineer. And now, let's hear from the BOI, Board of Investments. Board of Investments, BOI. Are you here? Okay, there you are. And your name?
Good morning, Mr. Chair. My name is Romaline Manalo po from the Board of Investments.
Ms. Manalo, go ahead.
Generally, we support the objectives of this bill. However, we are yet to finalize our comments and to be submitted to the COMSEC po.
Thank you, Ms. Manalo. That's all? Thank you, Ms. Manalo from the BOI. And how about the Department of Transportation? Anybody from the DOTR? DOTR?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, Attorney Miguel Llave, Legal Service, DOTR. Sir, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senator Gatchalian. The DOTR would like to manifest its support for the natural gas midstream and downstream bills. We recognize the need for natural gas as a viable alternative fuel, which would help us bridge into renewable sources in the future. We are presently still consolidating our comments from our concerned attached agencies, and we will be submitting them at the soonest possible time.
Thank you, Attorney Miguel Llave from the DOTR. How about the representative from the DOF, Department of Finance?
Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Good morning,
Senator Win.
ASEC Carlo Adriano. Go ahead, sir.
The Department of Finance recognizes the objective of the measures to establish a healthy and competitive natural gas industry in the country. However, we have four main comments. First one in regards to the rate regulation. The proposed rate regulation should provide sufficient safeguards to avoid passing on costs to consumers. In particular, the rates must be on a level that will enable recovery of just and reasonable costs, which will allow the entity to operate viably. And then number two, on the natural gas transmission system, defined as a public utility. Under RA 11659, or the amendments to the Public Service Act, natural gas transmission system is not a public utility, hence excluded from the constitutional restriction on foreign investment. Third is on the automatic inclusion of the Philippine downstream natural gas industry in the SIPP. The proposed inclusion of the PDNGI chain in the SIPP undermines the periodic review process on the grant of fiscal incentives enshrined in the tax code as amended. And we emphasize that sectors or industries to be included in the SIPP must undergo an evaluation process to determine its sustainability and potential in promoting long-term growth. And then lastly, on the fiscal incentive, sir, we emphasize that any additional grant of tax exemption must follow the guidelines of the Corporate Recovery and Tax Incentive for Enterprises, or CREATE Act, and be subject to the Fiscal Incentive Review Board's oversight to ensure a harmonized and accountable tax incentives framework. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Attorney Carlo Adriano. And now let's hear the representative from Marina to express his opinion. And that will be Attorney Patrick Ferrano. Attorney Ferrano, go ahead, sir.
Good morning, sir. The Marina supports the bill, with the Senate bill. However,